Hi, my name is Julia Mallory, and I am a member of Zora's Den. I'm so excited to have been asked to participate as a part of this Kwanzaa celebration. I want to extend my sincerest gratitude to all of the event organizers and all of the folks who have worked tirelessly to make the best of this pandemic and have found a way to pivot online so that we can remain connected to each other during some of these most critical times. I am also enthusiastic that Zora's Den is representing the sixth principle of Kwanzaa, which is Kuumba, which represents creativity. And Kuumba isn't just creativity, right? But it is about what we do in our community and how our creativity advances our community and celebrates and honors community and represents the best of us. So I'm super excited as a writer and a poet and a creative to be able to share some of my reading with you or some of my works, as well as a hometown heroes work with you as well. So I am going to read from my collection, Survivor's Guilt. And I was struggling. I was writing a poem about, I came to realize that so many people struggle to make a decent pot of rice. And so making a perfect pot of rice is something that I learned when I was super young. My father was a great cook and he passed that down to me. And so one of the things that I always prided myself on was being able to make a really good pot of rice. And so as I've learned more of our history and I've learned more about how even our enslaved ancestors, I come from Georgia and Alabama folks, and it is thought at one point that over 75% of the enslaved Africans that were brought to the Georgia coastal region were there because of their rice cultivation skills. And so one night I've been working on a poem about rice and how I could honor my father's legacy and what he left me. And I came across this documentary, and I won't go too far into that, but it was just very interesting to see the ways in which there are so many connections, how people enslaved, the ancestors of enslaved folks that were here were also connected to their homeland by a single song. And in part of that song, it was a funeral song, a funeral ritual that also involved rice. And so after watching that documentary, which is called The Language You Cry In, I was like, okay, that's it. I know how I'm going to explore the layers of time and history and honor my folks. The immediate offspring of a man who loved rice and taught me how to cook rice, but also the people that came way before either of us and all the folks that shall come after. And so I'm going to read this poem, which is called Kwanzaa, which is the Mende word for grave. 2 to 1, measure the rice, measure the water, don't bother it but one time. Cover it, turn the fire into a whisper. Let it do what it's gonna do. Every time you peek, a bit of magic escape. The steam, a secret, a stir, like a meddlesome in-law to cleaving newlyweds. Strand over strand, a secret chamber, African women hiding rice in their hair. Why y'all put sugar in everything? Sierra Leone to Georgia, Black women hiding a song in their hearts. In Georgia, in a rice field, captives brave gators and axe where its head once was. And that is Kwanzaa. And again, that is from my latest collection called Survivor's Guilt. I want to share another poem, and this one is called For Quiet Black Girls. The world is afraid that your silence is summoning the riot within, preparing to overthrow the tyranny that refuses to see you, invisible until you won't see them, won't bend and lift their cover, won't lift their comfort, carrying it all up on your back. Where do Black women go when they go quiet? A watercolor in her chest, a garden in her mouth. Rest in her mind, building a fortress around her peace in a world that won't show up in the same way, where reciprocity is privilege. Go ahead, Black girl, build a world in quiet. Listen to the God within. Go ahead, Black girl, find your first voice before the world ran interference on your thoughts. Go ahead, Black girl, turn your cape into a pillow. Go ahead, Black girl. Start a riot if you choose to. They know you could light a match with your tongue. Go ahead, Black girl. Run and we'll follow. And that is for quiet Black girls. I want to also, I know we are in, there is no survival of us in the diaspora without our creativity. There is also a place where if we don't, we are in obviously a whirlwind of loss and grief. And so there is something about the ways in which we've had to push through. And some of us have pushed through some of the worst pain, but at some point there is something about us that we'll have to reclaim and reconcile with all the ways this world doesn't want us to feel. And so I'm of the mind that we can't avoid our grief and be free. And so I want to share this poem that is related to my own grief experience as a child loss survivor. And it also, grief has taught me kind of this emotional range, right? And I've found so many creative ways to engage my grief and tap into the transformative power that it can offer. And so it reminds me, when I'm saying that, I'm thinking of Audre Lorde, who also says that ultimately our pain is in the same, our power is located in the same source as our pain. And so I want to offer this poem called Beloved, which is, it's a poem about grief, but it also is a love poem. And I am using the title from Toni Morrison's novel by the same title and tapping into ultimately, which is a ghost story, right? Is a story about love, is a story about haunting. And so I'm going to share my poem Beloved with you. We are the babies our parents thought would not come, stubbornly on the underside of the universe, resisting the toll of energy. I on my own time, you simply disinterested in this dimension. A pair of old souls that never felt young or carefree. Maybe our fathers aged us. You told me you could feel me before you saw me. Trapped adventurers on this here planet. Our pronouncements more exciting than their manifestations, reneging in advance. Do you remember that term from Spades? I tried to teach you twice and we got bored. Why do we get over things so quickly? Working wonders for our forgiveness, finding the concern in my eyes and absolving it with, I ain't going nowhere. You hear me, girl? I hear you. Nourishing your thigh while reading you Beloved, starving the tears in my eyes, a ghost baby fighting for life and love on this side. Haunted in my house, memories of my dead son on me. Your white tee, a landing place for the tears your lips could not catch first. A reminder, my heart still beating, a mosaic broken and gathered in my chest. And that was Beloved. I'm going to share with you one of my favorite poets of all time is Lucille Clifton. I have always admired the way that Lucille Clifton could say so much with so few words, a woman of brevity. And as you might be able to see, I too am a poet of brevity. And so I think in talking about all that, you know, all that is happening in the world, all that is happening to us individually and collectively, if you were watching this video, that is still a testament to the fact that we are still here, right? We are still here. And as June Jordan says, right, some of us did not die. And so as a testament to being alive, ultimately, as she says, we owe something to the folks who are no longer here. And so I can't lose sight of that in this moment. I can't lose sight of the ways in which our people continue to care for each other, the way that we bring so much creativity and flair and finesse, and just genuine love in so much that we do. And it's so incredible to me. I came across a passage. I don't even want to speak the person's name just because that's how insignificant I think their opinion is. But it is someone that people have deemed responsible for the founding of a country where people already live, right? So this particular individual said that basically that Black people, that we lacked imagination. Could you imagine us lacking imagination? That ultimately our senses and our sense of creativity was dull. Y'all, can you imagine? And so I'm grateful to be here in this space, acknowledging the best that all of our creativity has to offer. And as June Jordan said, that some of us did not die, that we're here, but as a result of that, right? As a result of that, is it possible for us to celebrate that reality? And so I am going to end my reading with an acknowledgement of the genius that is Lucille Clifton by reading her poem, Won't You Celebrate With Me? Won't you celebrate with me? What I have shaped into a kind of life I had no model, born in Babylon, both non-white and woman. What did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight, my other hand, come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. And so in this moment, I give thanks to each of you watching this and send you my deepest gratitude and wish for all of the creativity and how it will come forth and manifest in the ways in which we will continue to make our ancestors proud. Happy Kwanzaa, and here is to being present and being alive in 2021. Take care, everybody.